everybody, this is Dr. Forth, and as promised, this is going to be my video about hand washing and the importance of that. Of course, we have pathogens, bacteria and viruses on all surfaces all around. It's impossible, even with really good hand washing, to completely eradicate them. What we're trying to accomplish is to decrease the number of pathogens. This is similar to what I talked about in the video about masking. If you haven't watched that, that's a good one to take a look at because it also helps with disease prevention. So we're trying to reduce the number of pathogens when we do our hand washing. The organisms that we think about as the main disease-causing organisms, bacteria and viruses. A report released from the WHO, that's World Health Organization, indicates that respiratory and digestive infections are the number one and number two cause of death worldwide. And so it's really important to maintain appropriate hygiene measures to decrease the number of these organisms. I actually have a link that I'm going to put in the description for the video for those citations and the articles. Bacteria are actually living single-celled organisms, and you may be most familiar with Streptococcus or Staphylococcus. Anytime you hear coccus, that means it's a spherical shape as opposed to a rod. So strep and staph, and sometimes you hear about E. coli, which is not a coccus or spherical bacteria. That one usually comes from contamination into the food supply. Very often, agricultural runoff from cattle operations that get into the water supply for fruit and vegetable growers. And so then it ends up in our salads and so forth. So those are bacteria. Viruses are different. Viruses are really just a little snip of genetic code surrounded by various layers of proteins and fats. And so the viruses, that's what caused the pandemic, particular type of virus called a coronavirus. Remember, corona is a family of viruses. We call it COVID-19. And this particular type of virus has a fatty membrane surrounding that genetic material. And that makes it particularly susceptible to washing with normal soap and water because that soap actually breaks down the fatty membrane, leaving the genetic core part of the virus susceptible, and it kills the virus. So normal soap and water can actually kill the coronavirus that caused the pandemic, but you have to employ appropriate hand washing technique. So we're going to go over that right now. Make sure that you have a towel nearby. And this is going to be kind of tricky because I'm trying to show my hands in the video. Ordinarily, when you're doing hand washing, you want your hands to be down lower than the elbows so that all of the water is going to drain into the sink rather than up your arm. But I'll hold my hands up just for the video portion of that. So we're going to turn on the faucet, adjust the temperature. We're going to get a little bit of water on the hands, wetting them thoroughly all the way up to the wrists. And then we get 1 teaspoon of soap. We're going to lather, doing circular motions between the fingers really well, around the knuckles and the fingers and the nails. Don't forget around the thumb and up the wrist, about 1 inch above the wrist. And again, remember, I'm holding my hands up so you can see, but you will want to have them down so that it's going to drain into the sink basin, okay? So you're going to do that. The CDC says about 20 seconds. The WHO, World Health Organization, says 40 seconds. There's all kinds of fun little rhymes you can sing and so forth. They came out with all manner of creative things during the pandemic. So I've heard like 20 Mississippis or happy birthday twice. Time it, figure out 20 to 40 seconds. Okay. And so we're doing this motion, and that's very important because the soap action is going to lift the materials off the skin, but the scrubbing is going to help to remove them. So again, I've got my hands up so you can see them, but you're going to want to keep them down because we don't want all that soap and dirty water draining down the arm when you're trying to wash and clean your hands. So you do that 20 to 40 seconds, and then we're going to rinse again, making sure the water flows downward, and we pat the hands dry with a towel. Don't scrub with the towel. Use a dry towel to turn off the faucet. And most restrooms have a door that opens out, so you can use your elbow or your foot to open the door. And the hand washing is an important step in proper hygiene and illness prevention. So make sure that you wash your hands every time you use the restroom, if you've been playing with your pets, when you come in from outside, doing any task that makes your hands dirty.